So this is the Vivo X200 Pro, and it has made waves from being one of the best smartphone cameras out in a long time. But this phone is not that straightforward when it comes to taking the best images possible. So that's what we're going to do in this video. We're going to go through the settings that I use to get the best photos and video possible on this phone. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. I want to talk first about lenses on this phone. Getting the best images possible out of it are quite different when we talk about other smartphone cameras. When we talk about other smartphone cameras, the best lens tend to be that main sensor, the roughly normal 1x lens, 24mm lens, that type of thing. With the Vivo X200 Pro, this actually changes. Sure, that main 1x lens is fantastic. You're not going to have any problems. You have a 50 megapixel sensor on that sensor, as well as a 50 megapixel ultra wide sensor. But the magic happens with this smartphone with the telephoto. You actually have a 200 megapixel periscope telephoto on this lens, and it means that pretty much you're going to be getting almost consistent image quality across the full zoom range, which is actually not something that's super common on smartphones. For instance, if you're shooting with something like the iPhone 16 Pro or the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, you're actually going to get the best image quality with the main sensor, and then telephoto is almost like a nice to have, but shoot with it a bit sparingly. On the Vivo, the telephoto is a real strength. Let's jump now into the camera app. So as you can see, I've got things open here. As mentioned, here are the zoom potentials. We've got the 0.6, the 23mm, 46mm. When previously we were talking about those lenses, the only thing actually to be aware of here is the 2x is of course a digital crop of that main 1x sensor. So if anything, that's probably going to be the lens you maybe want to avoid if you're thinking about taking the best images possible. In terms of the camera app, here at top we've got Google Lens here, then flash controls at the top. Here is your live photo control. This will give you almost like that animated photo that we've seen before. The Zeiss control here, this is your picture profile control, and it's actually one of the most important things with this camera because you get 3 camera controls. You get vivid, textured, and natural. These are going to be basically imprinted into your images and give you an entirely different look and feel. I personally always stick on natural, but this is a preference. I personally would stay away from textured. That's in my personal opinion just not a fantastic look. Vivid is going to really boost the saturations and contrast in your images and make things definitely feel a little bit more poppy. So if that might be a style that you particularly like, for me, I like to stay on natural. Up next here is your super macro control. So you've got an easy one tap option to actually turn this and toggle this on. You can see that if we zoom in here, you can actually go up to 7.4 times or even 10 times on the macro control. You can just see how good this macro control actually is. Even going up to 85mm here, the 3.7x. You can even go to 1x on super macro as well. You can see how close you can get just like this. But considering macro performance is so fantastic on that telephoto lens, I would always stick in the kind of 85 and up zoom range for your macro. Before we deep dive into the extended camera settings, let's go across the different modes you've got available at the bottom. First of all is snapshot mode. What this is doing is this is trading off image quality in return for speed. So if you're shooting fast moving objects or sports or anything like that, snapshot is the mode that you're going to be wanting to do that in, except you are trading off your quality. So I particularly have found the Vivo performance pretty good when it comes to actually taking images quickly. So I actually really recommend you tend to stay in photo mode and don't use snapshot unless you really are going for like crazy speeds. Landscape, pretty self-explanatory. Portrait mode, this is going to give you image blur. Of course, the portrait mode is fantastic on the Vivo, so definitely give this one a try. In portrait mode here, you've got your controls. You can actually control the different styles of bokeh that you want in your images. As you can see, I tend to just stick with natural personally, but again, you can certainly play around with those. We'll go back. The standard photo mode, standard video mode, we will go into those in more detail. Then portrait video, again, same thing. If we swipe over to the far right here, this is where there are some additional controls. First of all, I want to talk to you about high resolution mode. This is going to let you shoot in those high resolutions, 50 megapixel files and even 200 megapixel files. So you can tap at the top here, you can go 200 megapixels, and this is only going to be supported in that 85mm focal length, as you can see, but this will let you shoot a 200 megapixel file. We'll turn that off at the top here, and you can go to the 1x. That will be a 50 megapixel file, and then a 0.6 here as well. Another mode and option you have is a bit of a weird one on the Vivo cameras, but you can swipe up at any time here from the bottom, and this actually enters something called humanistic mode or street photography mode. And as you can see, it's basically just a little bit more of a manual control experience. It does seem a little bit weird because there's a bit of duplication orientation from the Pro mode in my personal opinion, but you can see that like if you tap up here, you get focal length control. It basically is a way of almost like getting a little bit closer to a traditional camera experience. That's at least what it seems to be aimed at. The only real difference for me is that you actually get access to a black and white picture profile in this mode. So that's certainly one to use because it's quite a nice style and it gives you the option to shoot black and white and actually compose in black and white, which is not something you can do on the Vivo by default. Back over on the more section here, I'm not going to go through all of these modes, but we will talk about the Pro mode later because this one is extremely important when it comes to capturing the best photo and video possible. Let's head back onto the main screen. We're going to go into the settings page here. There are a few controls you're going to be aware of. So at the top, you have your aspect ratio control. I would personally leave this on 4:3. You have your timer here, the next line down. Next, you have a few controls. So let's turn on grid lines and meter. This is going to give you a couple of indicators on your screen. Again, those are kind of preference. You can just turn them off. You have options for things like effects adjustment. This is going to toggle on this little toggle down here to the right, which is going to allow you control brightness, saturation, contrast, and sharpness, which is a really nice feature. I leave that on. Here we have watermark, which for me as a YouTuber and someone who creates these videos, this is actually one of my favorite features about the Vivo, is it's going to give you, as you can see, so we're going to more watermark settings here. It's going to give you a breakdown of your photo setting and camera options on your actual photo itself. So it's going to essentially bake this into the image. You can have this overlaid over the top. You can have a custom one set up here, but I actually tend to go for this one. It goes underneath the image so it doesn't overwrite anything. And you can see things like your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture. It's a fantastically useful feature, and I really, really wish more camera manufacturers had it. And of course, if you don't want it off, you can turn it off just with the toggle at the top there. Let's go back into the settings here. Manual focus control. This lets you control your focus manually if you want to do so. And HDR, you're definitely going to want on, as with all smartphone cameras. What we're going to do is we're going to tap into more settings, and this is really where the magic happens. Let's go down these settings and go through my configuration. So watermark, we've been through. Sound, this is just the kind of sound controls, toggling settings and things like that. You can leave that on. Location, I actually turn off personally. Mirrored selfie on, you know this control. This basically will swap your selfie so that it's a mirror and a bit more true to life. I keep this on. Ultra wide correction, you're definitely going to want on. Next up, we have the quick action for the camera. This will basically allow you, when the phone is locked, to just double tap the volume down button here, and it will give you the option to, for instance, launch camera only or launch the street photography mode that we mentioned earlier. But for now, we'll just leave that on camera only. Keep settings is a really useful feature because this allows you basically to dictate which settings are going to remain the same when you close the camera app. So we're going to keep on camera mode. We're going to turn off photo mode status because you actually want the filters and things like that to reset, in my personal opinion. I'm going to leave everything else the same and turn on HDR at the bottom there. We'll head back out. The smart focus control here, this is the same setting on the previous screen. We're going to toggle that on. People and pets are automatically tracked with the rear photo, but you can always tap and change the focus point of your images there. Smart recommendation, we're going to tap in. I'm going to toggle these off personally. It's basically just photo and video recommendations for you when you're taking your images. If you're just getting into photography, this might be something you want to keep on. Portrait features, we're not going to touch. Professional functions, we're not going to touch. Inside photo controls here, we have shutter options. You can actually tap the screen to take a photo. You could say cheese to take a photo, or show the palm of your hand to take a photo. I'm personally going to leave these off. I don't tend to use features like this. This is quite a nice feature. This allows you to change your default for the 1x lens. I personally like 35mm, except for the actual default, I am going to keep this on 23mm. Enhanced night sky will leave on for the landscape mode, same as the landscape moon effect. This basically is just going to enhance a few of the options inside the landscape mode. So on the times where you are using that landscape mode on the main photo screen, you probably want those on. I'm going to leave off photo orientation prompt. I'm going to leave off glare reduction. Even though this sounds like a useful feature, I actually personally don't want an additional round of processing going on just in case things are messed with that final image. Generally, controls like this are a little bit risky because you can end up with a result that might not be ideal, and there's sometimes no way of undoing it. The street photography camera, you can turn this off if you don't want that mode accessible. QR code recognition, we want that on. And full length live photo, we're going to turn that on as well, just to extend the length of live photos. Now we're on to the video settings. So we're going to go into default, resolution and frame rate. We're going to video. Let's change this up to 4K at 30 frames a second, 4K at 30 frames a second for those default modes. Portrait video I'm not going to touch because I don't personally shoot portrait video, but you can change that if you want. Pro video. This is really cool, especially for me in Europe and other people in Europe, because this is going to give you true NTSC and PAL controls for your video. So for instance, I'm going to default to 4K at 25 frames a second, which is what I shoot all of my videos in, which is pretty common in Europe. Go back out there, you can go 4K at 120 frames a second for your slow motion controls, and you could change your time-lapse settings as well if you want to. Those are extremely useful and extremely important changes. If we go into codec here, you get the option between shooting in high efficiency and high compatibility. I'm going to leave that on H.265 because you're going to get the best possible quality in the smallest possible size. This is another very important change here. We're going to change the bit rate from standard to high. This is going to just increase the amount of data you have in your video, resulting in better quality in the pro video mode. 3D sound tracking, I'm going to leave off. Low light FPS, I'm going to leave on just in case you are in a lower light environment. The device is going to choose when that is and switch that to 24 frames a second to use the most possible available light. Off-screen recording, we're going to leave on. This basically means that if you are recording a long extended time, the screen will power down but still record in the background. Lock white balance, I'm going to leave that off. High frame rate video stabilization, you definitely want this on. Any stabilization features generally on smartphones, you pretty much always want to keep on. And erase noise, again, same thing as one of the settings previously. I'm going to leave this off just because things get a little bit risky. You don't know how the result is going to be at the end of that processing, so that's why we're going to leave that off. So those are the settings. Now let's go through taking the best possible photos and the best possible videos. And this is going to happen using the pro modes. So you can see at the top in the pro photo mode here, you have the option to pretty much control all manual controls for your camera here. So you can change your ISO, your shutter speed, your white balance. The settings at the top that are very, very important is the control here, the raw control. So you're not going to want to shoot on JPEG like this. You're going to want to shoot in either raw or super raw. Super raw is a feature available on Vivo phones that just essentially stitches a number of raw image files together, resulting in a higher quality image. So this actually is going to be the best possible way of taking an image, editing it afterwards, and you will end up with the best result. It's certainly not going to be the best for speed and almost like getting the best image just nice and quickly, but it will give you the best possible shot at creating the nicest image. And an important note here as well is you still get access to the Zeiss picture profile control here, so you can shoot in vivid, textured, natural, and that will be almost like honored in the raw file. And then for video, we just tap this setting down here and you get a number of controls. So first of all, you still have access to all of those manual video controls, but there are a couple of key differences for video here. Most notably is that resolution control. As you can see, you can actually shoot 8K, 24, 25, and 30 frames a second on this device. But let's go down to 4K for now. And then the only other thing I want to mention is log recording. So this, you can see that my screen has got incredibly flat in terms of colors. This is basically going to give you a video that is very flat but is able to be color graded, and it does look fantastic, but this is not one to shoot if you almost like don't know what you're doing. This is for intentional videos that are shot with intentional color grading in mind. If you don't know how to grade log footage, you can obviously look up tutorials and things like that, but if you are just wanting almost like the best image possible out of your video without grading it, just turn this log setting off and still shoot in that pro mode. And so guys, there we have it. Those are my settings and recommendations for shooting on the X200 Pro. If you guys have any tips, leave them down below. We'll catch you next time.